February 19th, 2026. New Delhi, India. The air in the Bharat Mandapam Convention Center is electric. This is the India AI Impact Summit, an event designed to redefine the global technology landscape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just set the stage, declaring a bold new vision: design and develop in India. Deliver to the world. Titans of industry are here: CEOs from Google, leaders from DeepMind, and dignitaries from across the globe. But one name on the schedule carries more weight than almost any other: Bill Gates. He was scheduled for the landmark keynote address. He was already in the country. He was preparing to deliver a speech that, according to a storm of online speculation, wasn't just about code, but about a fundamental shift in global power. And then his appearance was canceled. Hours before he was set to take the stage, his name was quietly removed from the day's schedule. The speech was off. Officially, the world was told it was a mutual decision to keep the focus on the summit's priorities. A routine scheduling change. Nothing to see here. But that wasn't the full story. Not even close. The truth is a complex saga of public relations, scandal, and damage control. Let's investigate why one of the world's most powerful men was abruptly pulled from the spotlight, and separate the facts from the fiction surrounding the so-called billion-dollar secrets he was never going to share. To understand the drama of the cancellation, you first need to grasp what the India AI Impact Summit represented. This was no ordinary tech conference. Billed as the first major AI forum for the Global South, this was a declaration of intent, coming out party for a new world order in technology. For years, the AI conversation has been dominated by Silicon Valley and China. The rules were written in California, and the rest of the world was often just a market. India, under Prime Minister Modi, was making a spectacular bid to change that model. The summit was the grand stage for this ambition. The message was clear. India would not be just a consumer of AI. It would be a co-creator and a global hub for innovation. Modi's pitch framed the nation as the perfect AI bridge between the world's most advanced economies and the developing nations of the Global South. The raw materials were all there: a population of nearly 1 billion internet users, a torrent of data, and a government pushing relentlessly for digitization. The guest list reflected the gravity of the moment. Sundar Pichai of Google was there. French President Emmanuel Macron addressed the attendees. And Secretary General Antonio Guterres was present, proposing a multi-billion-dollar fund to build AI capacity in poorer nations. This was the context into which Bill Gates was scheduled to step. He wasn't just another speaker. As the co-founder of Microsoft and the head of the world's most influential philanthropic foundation, Gates's voice carries a unique authority. He has spent decades on the front lines tackling the biggest problems in global health and development. His endorsement of India's AI vision would have been a powerful validation, signaling to the world that the future of AI for good could be forged not just in Seattle or Shenzhen, but in New Delhi. The stage was set for a major speech, and the world was ready to listen. The cancellation was abrupt, but not quite the last-second vanishing act some stories would have you believe. On February 16th, Bill Gates was in India, meeting with Chandrababu Naidu, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. He was in the country and seemingly preparing for the summit. As late as February 17th, the Gates Foundation was still dismissing rumors and confirming he would attend as scheduled. Then, just hours before his keynote on February 19th, the official announcement dropped. The decision for him to withdraw, the Gates Foundation stated, was made to ensure the focus remains on the AI Summit's key priorities. In his place, Ankur Vora, a president from the Foundation's Africa and India offices, would attend. Let's be real, that excuse sounds like classic corporate PR. You have one of the world's leading voices on technology and global development as your keynote. His presence is the focus. His insights are a priority. The idea that his withdrawal would somehow help the summit's focus is the kind of doublespeak designed not to inform, but to obscure. It's like saying the star quarterback is sitting out the Super Bowl to keep the focus on the game. The statement is so counterintuitive, it practically begs the question, what was the real distraction they were trying to avoid? Whispers immediately turned into a roar of speculation. Had there been a disagreement over his speech? Had a powerful entity lodged a complaint? The official story felt like a leaky sieve, and the real reason had everything to do with a ghost from his past. The timing wasn't a coincidence, but not in the way the conspiracy theories suggest. The real issue was a bombshell that had detonated weeks earlier. Halfway around the world, from the U.S. Department of Justice, in late January, a new trove of documents related to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein was unsealed and released to the public. And within those documents were fresh, uncomfortable details and allegations concerning Bill Gates. The newly released information reignited a story the Gates camp had been desperately trying to move past. While Gates has publicly and repeatedly called his meetings with Epstein a huge mistake and a profound error of judgment, the new documents brought the issue roaring back into the headlines. For his part, Gates has strongly denied any misconduct. But in the court of public opinion, especially in a hypersensitive era, the renewed scrutiny was intense. Adding to the pressure, Melinda French Gates had recently commented on the matter, calling it a reminder of painful times, which gave the scandal a fresh and deeply personal angle. This was the perfect storm of bad press that descended just as Gates was about to take one of the world's most important stages. According to government sources, officials worried that if Gates took the podium, the media and social media discourse would pivot entirely to the Epstein connection rather than India's AI ambitions. The scandal provided the perfect and likely true reason for the cancellation. It gave summit organizers and the Gates Foundation a plausible, if publicly unstated, reason to pull the plug, framing it as a noble act of self-sacrifice to protect the summit from controversy. The Epstein connection wasn't some convoluted tool used by a secret cabal to silence him. It was a straightforward public relations crisis. The real controversy wasn't what was in the speech. It was the scandal itself. So what about the billion-dollar speech? What was the message so dangerous it had to be suppressed? The simple truth is, there's no evidence one ever existed. The idea of a suppressed speech with revolutionary secrets is pure speculation. While the exact text is unknown, we can look at Gates' public record to see what he likely would have talked about and ULLC. These are unsecrets at all. For years, Gates has been a huge public champion for Digital Public Infrastructure, or DPI. This refers to a set of shared digital systems, like India's Aadhaar for identity and its UPI for payments. Far from being a secret, the Gates Foundation has committed hundreds of millions of dollars to DPI initiatives, and he writes about it openly on his blog. His message would have likely praised India's model and encouraged its adoption in the Global South message of technological empowerment, but one he delivers frequently. Similarly, the idea of sovereign AI nations developing their own AI models is a mainstream topic. Gates would have likely addressed India's challenges like chip shortages, but also its immense strengths like its talent pool. This wouldn't be a threat, but an encouragement, aligning with the summit's entire purpose. Finally, the idea that Gates would reveal a startup goldmine in building applications for the Global South is, again, not a secret. It's the core investment thesis of countless venture funds and a major focus of his own foundation. Microsoft, Google, and Amazon have already pledged tens of billions in investments in India for cloud and AI infrastructure. Showing the opportunity is well known. Gates's role would have been to amplify this message, not reveal it. He was silenced not because of his vision for the future, but because of a scandal from his past. With Gates gone, the India AI Impact Summit didn't just lose a speaker. It lost its center of gravity. The event, meant to be a flawless showcase of India's vision, quickly began to fray at the edges, descending into a series of embarrassing and chaotic episodes. The fallout started immediately with significant logistical failures. On the opening day, some delegates reported waiting in long queues for hours just to get inside, with some halls being at capacity. For an event championing a seamless digital future, the on-the-ground reality was at times an analog nightmare. The high-profile cancellations weren't limited to Gates. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, the single most important company in AI hardware, so canceled his appearance days before, citing an illness after weeks of extensive travel. Just like with Gates, a team of his executives was sent in his place, but the absence of another titan of the industry was a palpable blow. Then came the moment of pure farce. Galgoshes University was proudly showcasing what it claimed was a homegrown Indian robotic dog. But sharp-eyed observers quickly noticed that this innovation was a commercially available Chinese-made robot from a company called Unitree, which had been rebranded. The university was unceremoniously expelled from the summit, adding a layer of humiliation to the growing sense of disarray. What was supposed to be a triumphant coronation turned into a series of logistical blunders and embarrassing headlines. The narrative was no longer solely about India's brilliant AI future. It was about long lines, fake robot dogs, and the conspicuous absence of two of the industry's biggest stars. The powerful message of the summit was partially squashed, not by a conspiracy, but by a series of unfortunate events and a major PR crisis. So let's recap the story they don't want you to know, or rather, the story that's more reality than sensationalism. A landmark global summit was convened to launch a new era in artificial intelligence. One of the world's most influential figures was scheduled to deliver a major keynote. Just before the event, a damaging story from his past resurfaced with a vengeance. To avoid having the summit's message completely overshadowed by a personal scandal, a decision was made for him to withdraw, under the vague pretext of keeping the focus on the summit. There was no secret speech with billion-dollar revelations. There was no shadowy cabal of tech giants or governments forcing him out. It was crisis management, plain and simple. The story of the canceled speech is a case study in how power and public relations work in the 21st century. It shows how personal scandals, even old ones, can have massive consequences and how carefully constructed narratives can be derailed. It leaves us with one final, more realistic question. In an age of intense media scrutiny, how many important conversations are being sidelined, not by conspiracy, but by the entirely predictable and human fear of a bad news cycle?